Baker's yeast is used in bakeries. Brewer's yeast is used in brewing industries. Microbes are produced in very large vessels called what? Fermenters. Then ethanol, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Then fermentation is carried out by certain bacteria to add flavor, color and aroma. Hello everyone. Welcome back to session 2 of this very interesting chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. Myself, B. Shobharani from the Department of Biology, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Mysuru, the Temple of Excellence. Hope you remember in the last session, we gave an introductory part of this very important chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. As I said, we usually find that we usually have an idea that microbes are always disease causing and harmful to mankind. But in the last session, we have studied that how useful even these microorganisms are. Right. Now let us see how are they useful in like in the homemade household products. We studied in the last session how the microbes are useful in making of the household products, and you might have come across we studied about what? Curdling of milk, that is conversion of milk into curds by lactic acid bacteria or the lactobacillus. In today's session, let us study about the microbes in industrial products. So microbes are used in industry to synthesize many products which are useful and which are having lot value to the mankind. So like maybe the beverages, maybe the antibiotics, the bioactive molecules, and all these are some of the products that are produced by microbes in industries. Now let us see how the microbes are used in industrial products, producing a number of industrial products. Here you can see the picture of a fermenter. So this is a picture of a fermenter. So microbes are produced in very large vessels called what? Fermenters. Right. So as I said, a number of industrial products valuable to mankind are produced with the help of microbes. The common ones are alcoholic beverages. You might have come across the alcoholic beverages like rum, whiskey, beer. All those are made out of this fermentation process by the bacteria. And even in the production of antibiotics, imagine if antibiotics were not there, definitely I think we human beings would have prone to many diseases. So we are able to cure the disease by the use of this antibiotics. Hope you remember the wonder drug called penicillium, right? So it is one of the antibiotic that is produced by a fungi called Penicillium notatum. Then production of microbes on an industrial scale requires what? Requires growing microbes in a very large vessels called fermenters. As I said, microbes are used in industry to synthesize many valuable products that are useful to mankind, may it be beverages, may it be antibiotics, or may it be bioactive molecules, etc. And as I said, the microbes are grown in large vessels called fermenters. Now, what is the role of microbes in the production of industrial products? You can see here the alcohol. Gone are those days where people used to use the crude method of making this alcohol, the rum, beer, whiskey, etc. You know, the fermentation, the crude method was they used to take the grapes in barrels and bury it in the soil. Now the days have gone. Through the technology, through biotechnology, the process has improved to a greater extent. Even the availability of these products is quite easy nowadays. Now let us study what is the role of microbes in the production of the industrial products. Particularly microbes like yeast are used in the production of alcoholic beverages. And yeast species used in alcoholic fermentation is what? Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is otherwise called brewer's yeast. Baker's yeast, like that baker's yeast is used in bakeries. Brewer's yeast is used in brewing industry. So making of alcohol and all, we call it as brewing industry. We use the word called brewing industry. Baker's industry, that is the baker's yeast. So there are two types of yeast. One is called the baker's yeast, the other one is called the brewer's yeast. So baker's yeast is used in bakeries for making of bread. I told you, bread, if it is hard, who will eat the hard bread? So the softness of the duff of the bread is mainly because of this baker's yeast. And even the alcoholic beverages are made by, is mainly possible by the brewer's yeast called Saccharomyces cerevisiae. And I think we have come across like people using many alcoholic beverages used from the microorganisms. Examples you might have come across: starch from barley grains is used in the preparation of beer. Then wine is produced from sugar of grapes. So there are different types of alcoholic beverages, like the starch which is taken from barley is used in the making of beer. Then wine is produced from sugar of grapes. So I think we have studied in one chapter called Human Health and Diseases, intake of alcohol is not good to health. So it should not be consumed in larger quantity. First of all, it should not be consumed, but if at all it is consumed, it should be taken in smaller quantity. If not, it is going to cause liver cirrhosis, etc. Right? So these are alcoholic beverages. Alcoholic beverages, you know, it has become a big industrial product, we can say. Then alcoholic drinks are of the following types depending upon the processing. As I said, nowadays with the technology, with the invention of more and more equipments, the methodology has been changed. Like gone are those good old days where the making of this alcoholic beverages was done in a very crude method. But now the days have changed. So alcoholic drinks are of the following types depending upon the raw material and the types of processing. So undistilled beverages are wine and beer. So wine and beer come under which category? They come under undistilled, distilled and undistilled. So here this comes under distilled beverages, that is wine and beer. Distilled beverages, like we have this whiskey, brandy and rum. They all come under distilled beverages. Undistilled beverages, wine and beer. So the role of microbes in the production of industrial products, microbes, particularly yeast, which is the yeast which is commonly used in alcoholic beverages, making of alcohol, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, and baker's yeast is used in baking industries. So varieties of alcoholic beverages are made from the same microorganism using different substrate. For example, like starch is used, barley is used. So the starch from the barley is used to make what? Preparation of beer. Then wine, obviously all of you know that it is made from the sugar of grapes. And as I said, the alcoholic drinks are of the following types based on the raw material as well as based on the processing into distilled and undistilled beverages. So undistilled beverages are namely the wine and beer, and distilled beverages are whiskey, brandy, rum, etc. Moving on to non-alcoholic beverages. All of us know that coffee and tea is called non-alcoholic beverage. Even coffee and tea also come under beverages. But as I said, they come under non-alcoholic beverages. But that does not mean to say that consumption of coffee and tea is good for health. So anything too much is too bad. Anything should be taken in smaller quantity. So every day morning when we get up, we need to have a cup of tea or a coffee. It stimulates our body and we become more active. Yes, of course, but that does not mean to say that we continuously need to take coffee and tea. So what are these non-alcoholic beverages? So here you can see, and we have this, hope all of you know, we have this coffee days. Different types of coffee also, Kur coffee. So everybody likes to have, and that too particularly in this rainy season, everybody likes to have a hot cup of coffee, right? So that is quite common. But now let us see. But as I said, anything too much is too bad. So coffee, tea and tobacco are common non-alcoholic beverages. Particularly even tobacco, taking, you don't actually, it is intake, it comes under this one. Produced by the fermentation of coffee beans, tea leaves and tobacco leaves. Then fermentation is carried out by certain bacteria to add flavor, color and aroma. Like coffee, we have different types of aroma. Why do we like coffee? There are different flavors in coffee. The making of that coffee procedure also is different, because the aroma, the sweet smell, what you get when you have a hot cup of coffee varies from different types of coffee beans. So this is about non-alcoholic beverages. So moving on to the next very important industrial product that is obtained through microbes is antibiotics. See here you can see the antibiotics. So as I said, what are antibiotics? As I said, whenever we come across any diseases, maybe in the beginning we do the doctor, when you go to a doctor might not give you antibiotics. So maybe thinking that it will reside. So when the fever or a disease is not residing immediately, then definitely the doctor advises for an antibiotic. So that will definitely kill the microorganisms, and so that the disease will reside. So these are the chemical substances which are produced by microbes. As I said, penicillium. Penicillium is a wonder drug discovered by Alexander Fleming, that is Penicillium notatum. So this is the first antibiotic that was discovered, and imagine if antibiotics were not there, imagine I think each and every human being would have been prone to diseases, and we are able to fight against the diseases. It is because of these antibiotics. So these are the chemical substances which are produced by microbes and which can kill or retard the growth. So whenever you take microorganism, the disease will reside. Why? Because it is going to kill the microorganism, and it is going to hinder the multiplication of the. So as you know, the very important characteristic feature of microorganism is what? Multiplication. So once it is inside the body of the host, it multiplies, right? So it will subside the multiplication of these microorganisms, thereby reducing the disease. So the term was, so this word antibiotic was coined by Walkman in 1942, and most of them are produced by actinomycetes, different types of fungi, especially the genus Streptomyces and filamentous fungi. As I said, penicillin is the first antibiotic to be discovered, isolated from a fungus by name Penicillium notatum by Alexander Fleming. Then Alexander Fleming. So Fleming, how did he discover this antibiotic? So Fleming, while working on Staphylococcus bacteria, observed a mold growing in one of the unwashed culture plates around which Staphylococcus could not grow. So he was able to, while working on Staphylococcus bacteria, observed a mold growing in one of the unwashed culture plates. So where this penicillium had grown, so this bacteria could not grow. So he found that it was due to the chemical produced by the mold, and he named it as penicillin, and after the mold, Penicillium notatum. So this is how the antibiotics have been produced. So as I said, antibiotic is one of the industrial product which is having great demand in the market, which is particularly in the field of medicine. So these are the chemical substances which are produced by some microbes, which can kill what? Kill or retard. The retard means lessen the multiplication of the disease causing microbes. And this term antibiotic was coined by Walkman in 1942, and most of them are produced by actinomycetes, especially the genus Streptomyces and filamentous fungi. And as I said, penicillin is the first antibiotic to be discovered and isolated from a fungus by name Penicillium notatum by Alexander Fleming. And Fleming, as I said, while working on Staphylococcus bacteria, observed a mold growing in one of the unwashed culture plates around which Staphylococcus could not grow. What did he observe in that mold? He observed, and he named that mold as what? Penicillin. And after that, as I said, the fungus called Penicillium notatum. So now let us understand the chemicals or enzymes and other bioactive molecules. As I said, all these are what? All these are the products, industrial products. So you might have come across Aspergillus niger. A fungus is used in the production of citric acid. Then Acetobacter aceti, a bacterium, is used in the preparation of acetic acid. Clostridium botulicum, a bacteria, is used for the production of butyric acid. Yeast, as I said, is commonly used for the brewer's yeast or breaker's yeast for the production of ethanol, right? Then now let us study the examples of the acid producers. Organic acid, one column is organic acid, the other column is microbes. So these are examples are very, very important. Usually they ask this in the examination. Each and every chapter what you are studying in second PUC is very important from examination point of view. Not only to go through your PUC, but also to crack your competitive exams like NEET and CET. So each and every point what we discuss in the class is very, very important. So do not neglect the concepts what you learn in these chapters in biology. Very, very important. If you want to score centum and if you want to go through your competitive exams, you should be very strong with your theory part, particularly the concepts, right? And all the questions that are asked are concept oriented. So you should make sure that you understand the concepts first, right? And even of course examples and diagrams are very important from examination point of view in biology. Please try to concentrate on these very important points what I have told. So diagrams are also equally important, concepts, underline the important words what you highlight the words. All these are the small things which you need to implement to score good marks in your PUC. So examples of acid producers. So one is citric acid, name the microorganism Aspergillus niger. Acetic acid, Acetobacter aceti. Then butyric acid, Clostridium butylicum. Then lactic acid, all of you know, Lactobacilli, LAB. Then ethanol, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. I repeat, citric acid, the name of the organic acid that is produced from the microorganism called Aspergillus niger. Acetic acid, Acetobacter aceti. Butyric acid, Clostridium butylicum. Lactic acid, Lactobacilli. Then ethanol, Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Hope you have understood all the concepts what I have explained in today's session. Each and every session of each and every chapter is very, very important for you all from examination point of view. So as I said, the concepts you must and should understand to go through your questions that is asked in the board exam. So in the coming session, I'll be dealing with the remaining part of this chapter called, that is the concepts called enzymes. What is the role played by the microbes in the sewage treatment, which is very, very important from examination point of view, and we'll be studying about the primary treatment. So I'll be back with some more concepts of this very interesting chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. Till then, goodbye and thank you.